Hello, Donnie Spaghetti, and welcome to your deck review. For anybody joining us for the first time on YouTube, this is a series where I, Maldhound, known Yeller, speak calmly and politely about your weird, malformed PP. Your PP is your deck's premise and practicum. Your deck's premise is the idea behind the deck, and the practicum is the stuff you put in the 99, and if it helps you achieve the idea. This light is way too harsh. Hold on. Ooh, now we got some mood lighting. Perfect for pull the lever Sin. We are on some Emperor's New Groove type shit. We want to use Sin to get a million landfall triggers. Now, Sin on ETB and attack, exile something at random from your graveyard. You get a token copy of it tapped onto the battlefield. If it's a land, you do it again. So it seems like ideally we want to have all of these, or as many of these as possible, be lands. Sin come in. Sin get rid of thing. Sin bring in thing. Oh my god, it was land because we only had 20 in our graveyard. And then you go sicko mode the moment that you have a single landfall payoff. That seems fine to me from an idea standpoint. Backup commander. That's not true, but it's fine. Draw a discard. Hey, looting. Good. That's all right. Cheat non-lands out of the yard. Well, that's quite bad. Okay. Okay, sure. We're probably going to ramp a lot. Creature cards. I really dislike that we're creature locked on this when we only have 15 creatures in the deck. We have, oh wait, does this only hit? It's a permanent card. So how many competing permanents do we have? We have 7 artifacts, 4 enchantments, 15 creatures. So that still worries me. If 2/3, we have very little ability to cheat non-lands out of the graveyard to begin with. And not only do we have a minimal ability to do it in the first place, the stuff we can do, 2/3 of it only works on 60% of our deck, which isn't the worst. Like, it's better than it not working on anything, but that feels low. It feels like Timepiece and Elixir are the only ones that really get all of the negatives out. I think this orb really honks here. Oh, for sure. Yes, very good. I hate you. All of these are fine. Fuck you. Looking at cardboard. Yeah, as digging for our landfall payoffs go, these are all fine. Wrong. Yeah, definitely wrong. Ramp, wrong. All right. Recursion and a dragon that likes seeing recursion, wrong. Varying levels of protection, wrong. All right. We got shit to work with. Let's go, baby. Okay, you got back to right on Evolving Wild. So what I take issue with in this deck is the amount of milling you are trying to do instead of the amount of sacrificing lands you are trying to do. Because we're not going to make this work in a deck that just has lands, right? This isn't going to be like a 90 land, Make-A-Wish miracle. It's going to have some number of creatures. It's going to have some number of enchantments. It's going to have some number of instants and sorceries to help you do stuff. And so if we're doing that, and I'm thinking about, well, how do we get a deck where I want to have only lands in my graveyard, such that when I play my 7-mana commander, it's basically just a big landfall bomb. What I would do is not... Milling myself would not be the primary plan. I would probably run Singularity Rupture anyway, because it's a board wipe that has potential upside for me. I would run Breach the Multiverse anyway, because it's a very, very good card. This is not a deck where I would be hitting myself with the Tumbler Zip Bomb. I wouldn't be... Yeah, no. What we want to be doing is the thing green and black is already tremendously good at, which is just sacrificing the lands we play for other stuff. I would be on every fetch land imaginable, and I would be on Harrow, and let's go to the Tagger. I don't know how many of these there are. I know there are enough. I think. I take that back immediately if I'm proven wrong momentarily. I know red has some of it too, so we won't get access to the red stuff. What are we in? We're in Sultai? Okay. So we have Crop Rotation, we have Harrow, we have Entis Restoration, we have Springbloom Druid, we have Gitrog Monster, we have Sylvan Safekeeper, we have Lotus Field, Roiling Regrowth, Scape Shift, Exploration Broodship. I don't think this one works totally as well generally, but it's not horrible. We're just seeing all the stuff we have. You probably wouldn't you wouldn't want to play Gerard, but Gerard can do it too. Cycle of Renewal, Constant Miss, Elvish Reclaimer, Glacial Chasm, Rain of Filth. Famished World Sire is another over-the-top windmill slam. Baloth Prime. Dust Bowl to hate on other people's non-basic lands. You can even do Braids of Risen Nightmare and just sack your lands. Like so already, without even really giving too deep of attention to how well they synergize, we've identified you could build a 10 to 20 card package of I would like to sacrifice as many lands as possible, please and thank you. The downside of this is that it is unlikely to reach the potential upside of you hit Traumatize with Perpetual Timepiece already on the field, and you get to do 30 at once. What you gain is that you will almost certainly be able to do 10 or more landfall triggers every time you play the deck. And the ability to do the big 30 will still be there, but it will no longer be like, okay, some games I get the beautiful game I get 25, the bad game I get 3. The bad game I get 0 because I didn't hit, right? We have all of the stuff that's important, we have less than 10 of. The only thing I'm confident this deck will do every game is play one of these ramp spells. And these ramp spells aren't even the ramp spells we want to have because none of them get lands in the graveyard. So I think you have, what normally happens when people build commander decks is they build a commander deck and they have a little, like a word cloud appears in their head of all the strategies and synergies that are connected to that commander. And I think for you realized early on that certain mill spells would be very valuable, and then you just tunneled too hard into mill. At least with the deck presented to me is all about the dirt, right? If we wanted this to be a more toolboxy reanimation deck that was also getting a lot of lands back, then I could see my way to more of the mill stuff. You would definitely still want as much of your ramp as possible to be this like, I sack a land to get 2 more, I sack a land to get 2 more, I sack 1, get 3 more, so over and over and over again. But I don't think that's what we're actually on, because we don't have good creature reanimation targets outside of like, Baloth's Titania. I wouldn't really class Lightning Greaves as protection. I wouldn't class Greaves or Boots as protection in this deck, because in this deck, you should theoretically be happy the moment Sin enters. So that means counterspells. If you play Sin and they immediately shoot him, if this deck is working as described, you don't care. If anything, you're happy, because it just means you get to recast Sin again the next turn after using a sacrifice outlet like Zurin Orb to gain 20 life. After using, do we have another like on-demand one? I know there's Sylvan Safekeeper, but giving something Shroud doesn't exactly spark joy. I'm thinking of something we can do over and over and over again for value. Baloth Prime, but that's a pretty expensive mana dump. Oh my god, dude! Look at this shit! Look at this shit! Brother, look at this shit! This is such a stupid card and so perfect for this deck. So this is now a mana dork that says every turn, I discard a land, I sacrifice a land, 2 more lands. Thank you. Thank you. And so this is what I would be doing. This is, I think, how you build a much more reliable path to, I always have a ton of dirt in my graveyard, and the likelihood that I have other stuff in my graveyard is much lower. It's not 0. Other people are playing removal. They might see Dreamscape Artist, know what you're doing. They might see, Gitrog monsters, certainly. They see Gitrog monster, and they figure out what you're doing. They're going to shoot him with a gun. But you at least have way fewer than in the world where you're milling half your library, and we now have to hope we've found one of like the 2 cards that actually solve this, right? Like Bone Harvest, Foot Bottom Piece, Forever Young and Repopulate does not actually solve this. It only solves about half the problem. Only Elixir and Perpetual Timepiece solve the whole of the problem. So okay, great. This is honestly, let's see how this playtest goes, because we have probably the most important card in our deck. So we play a tap land, We play a land, we Farseek, and I'm just like, God, if this was Dreamscape Artist, motherfucker, oh my God, we probably wouldn't even Farseek here. We'd probably timepiece to start milling. All right, so we have 2 non-lands, but they're not permanent, so we don't care about reshuffling them. They're just not valuable yet. We do this, we Farseek. I'm not going to pay attention to the types. You have enough colors that you're just fixed. Dope. 2 lands are in our graveyard. Beautiful. We get the Terramorphic Expanse. 3 lands now in our graveyard. All right, so now we have one of our protection pieces, which we didn't want to mill, but it doesn't matter about getting it out of the graveyard because it's not a permanent. And now we have a permanent. So we're going to have to burn this mill engine on getting it out of the graveyard if we want to be very confident in the number of landfall triggers we're going to get. Now, notably, we have no landfall payoffs, and we have no card draw. And I realized I kept a bad hand. All the like YouTube commenters who were like, nobody would ever play that deck seriously. I really heavily encourage everybody watching this video, if you have a deck you want to use in casual play, test it with no mulligans. That will give you a very, very good sense very quickly of where the deck's weak points are at. And it's much easier to iterate on a deck that you are not mulliganing intelligently for than it is to do a bunch of mental gymnastics and try to huff a bunch of copium about why the deck is actually good so long as you have a friendly mulligan. And it's like, I swear to God, this never happens. Just let me take 4 more mulligans, guys. Please, 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 please. And the reason we're not drawing into any is because we have a supremely low concentration. It's not a coincidence that our opening hand, we got lucky with one of the lowest concentration things, and then the only thing we drew into was the highest concentration things. And then we have like protection that doesn't help us a ton. Oh, we're lucky. So we get to glimpse. 1, not a land. 2, not a land. 3, not a land. 4, not a land. 5, a land. 6, land. 7, not a land and a thing we have to get rid of. 8, not a land. 9, not a land, thing we have to get rid of. 10, finally a land. And so the other thing we should be driving home is we have easily, like hands down, the best enabler for the deck as it currently is, because this can both mill and reshuffle the stuff. And we've done all of this to get 6 lands into our graveyard by turn 6. We're averaging only 1 land into the grave every turn on a game that is lucky for getting lands into the graveyard. This game, we don't even do anything with all those lands in the graveyard. Like, we get them back with Sin, and then we have nothing to spend the mana on. I'm pretty sure you could keep up with that. There's also planar engineering. If we were just dropping all of this, like, I think you could keep up with that 1 land a turn average if we were just playing a very, very heavy land sack game plan. And then that would give you the ability to run more cards that you were not so afraid to mill. I think probably you're held back on your synergy pieces because you have a lot of things that are like, okay, well, but if I mill this, I don't have a clean way to get it back, so I shouldn't put it in the deck because I'm going to be milling a lot. I just think mill should be like so far removed from in the priority order of how you are getting these lands into your graveyard, or you should just be a full freak and you should do mill and you should run like 60 lands. Because if we're going to be getting our lands into our graveyard by milling, we need better than 1 in 2 odds, and we have about 1 in 2 odds right now. Now for what I would cut, I would just kill these 4 cards with a gun instantly. I think your landfall stuff is mostly fine. I don't take issue with your looking at cardboard stuff. Cut your losses, dread summons, glimpse, traumatized, sludge titan, Jador. Because this also says target opponent, dog. That one's a rough one, especially. Ramp, I would just like as many as possible, 1-for-1 swap with a thing that sacrifices a land. And I don't think you play... I think you could still play Dread Return Dread Return, Reanimate, Keru Goldkeeper is probably fine. I'm not convinced you love Behold the Sinister Six. Maybe you do. If you want to play Greaves and Boots, I mean, you can, but I think you are. I think this is the wrong reaction to the lack of consistency in the deck. I think these were put in because you were like, well, I want haste and protection because I need to be able to swing because it bricks so often. And I think what I am suggesting will lead to you bricking much less often. And then we want to be in bracket 2. Do we want to stay in bracket 2? I see no notes about trying to move up or down a bracket. So I'll say we're not gonna move in like bracket 3 level interaction. But I do agree with, I think counter spells are your most important protection. We want to get this deck to a place where you slam Sin, Sin's ETB resolves, you are smiling. So are there any other goofy landfall triggers? I don't think goofy, but a definite good one would be Dread Presence. There's another way to gain some life. You can ping the board if you get like, because I think the really awkward spot you can get caught in is you have like 10 landfall triggers and it's not enough to win the game, but it is enough to make you the arch enemy. How do you navigate that? One of the ways you navigate that, have a full fucking grip because of it. Another way you navigate that, it effectively board wipes your opponents because you get 2 times however many landfall triggers you got to throw around as damage. Oh, and then the last bit, which I have touched on, I think I've implied it many, many times, go up on the number of lands that sacrifice to get another land. Like the... go to the tagger here, because there's a million of these. You shouldn't go crazy far up, especially because many of these land sack things make you grab basics. So you should have a higher basic count than the average bear. You may, I don't think you have to go up from here. I think, what is it, 8, 17? I think 17 basics would be sufficient, but I wouldn't go any lower than this. And then, yeah, fetch land. Damn near as many of these as can fit in the deck. Oh, Heater, Blighted Woodland, ramps you too. This one's kind of bad because it's colorless and you're in 3 colors, but I think since you lean so heavy into green, you can probably get your fixing done. But all the stuff that's like, hey, Cabaret Courtyard, this gets a forest. Hey, this gets a forest or an island. Hey, this gets basic land, and you just keep doing that. And then this shit hums. This shit works easy. So let's spend, we have like 2 minutes left. Let me look at, is there other, I never think of Landfall as goofy, so I'm trying to think of what we could care about that would be funny. Certainly not Scute Swarm. Okay, this would be a good deck to try to get a very funny Mossborn Hydra number. You want to do exponents? Because this bitch will have you doing exponents on a Friday night. Bristly Bill is also all reliable. Rune Crab is good psychic damage. I would not recommend it wholeheartedly because you're not going to win with it. Like, you're never, even in the happy dimension, you're not going to hit the 30 plus landfall triggers reliably to make this work. Obnix Illus is just another solid card. And it's fun to hit people. We already talked about Dread Presence. I don't love Scythe Cat Club. Royal Elemental's very funny. I can't believe I forgot about this guy. This would be like your equivalent of a 2-card I win the game combo. I still think it's fair for bracket 2 because it requires you to do all your setup. You have to play a 6-mana creature that's very weak, and then you have to resolve the 7-mana creature, and everybody has to have nothing to do. And then if they have any removal at any point, everybody gets all their stuff back. I do not think it's that powerful, but it is that funny to go, all right, turn 4, Royal Elemental. Turn 5, Sin. Gimme. All of it. Every creature. I think that would make me smile. Is there anything? This only cares about second. I mean, I think Sapling Nursery is better than Use Social Engineering for you. It has affinity for forest, so it's probably going to be cost reduced enough to play before your commander. It's going to make bigger creatures, and you can protect them, which is oftentimes very important for closing out bracket 2 games, because you can get into kind of like pool noodle jail, where you can't totally, you can't get over the top of people, and you don't want to swing out because of the crackback. So it might be worth just doing a 1-for-1 swap of Nursery and Use Social. Confounding Conundrum's actually funny as fuck. Hold on. The last thing we're going to do is I'm going to try to sell you on Confounding Conundrum. So let's say it's Sin time. You have 7 lands on the battlefield to cast Sin with. It has been a lucky run out. You have hit fetch lands. You have played your planar engineerings. You have 8 lands in the graveyard. And you have Confounding Conundrum on the field. Play Sin. Exiles your whole graveyard of lands. You get them on the field. Confounding Conundrum. Oh, opponent's control. No, we wanted this to be. I mean, it would be broken if it was us. No wonder. Yeah. All the. Sorry. I don't play enough of Landfall of my own, so I did not see that it would have. If it affected yourself, it would have been turbo broken by the lands players long before this. The dream I wanted was you bounce all your non-token lands to hand and then discard them at end of turn and then swing Sin. Get to keep doing it over and over again. But we don't get to live that dream because Gavin Verhey personally does not want me to have a very good time. Baloth Woodcrasher. You could also go for a very funny number similar to Mothborn Hydra. So those would be my picks if you want like fair bracket 2, a big spectacle is going to occur because I have had a million landfall triggers happen. More realistically, like 10 landfall triggers. So I wish you the very best of luck. Anybody in the comments, let me know if I have missed anything, and I hope you enjoyed.